So I'm back already with another, I guess you could say, segment in this for the CO2Art Elite, the Pro Elite Regulator. So I have taken my stuff apart. I've taken mine off, and I also took off my original Milwaukee that was not being used at all, so I can kind of show you guys the differences between what's out there on the market, because Milwaukee, as simple as they are still out there, and they're probably the cheapest option when it comes to regulators, but their dependability is questionable. So some people would prefer to save money. Some people would prefer to invest the money and not have to worry about it down the road. First thing I want to do actually though is talk about the inline diffuser. So as you can see, this is your inline diffuser. I chose to use this one. What I like about this and what's different from what I used before, this is what I had been previously using. It's not what I was using most recently. This is a ceramic inline diffuser that I bought from GLA. I took it off because I got a lot of water seepage. I got a lot of, I don't know, it just didn't seem to really be very effective in my opinion after using it for probably a year or two. So maybe it was just worn out. I don't know. One of the things that I noticed first about this is that this part it's replaceable. So this also has a ceramic disc on the inside, and that's where your CO2 actually mists through into your line. But you can take this off, and I did this once, and there's washers everywhere. So you have a washer to keep it in place, a washer for the line itself. You have a removable piece of ceramic, and then the washer that keeps that in place as well. That's really well built, in my opinion. I really like this, and so I'm kind of excited to use it. The one I had before sort of turned me off on inline diffusers, but this one looks like a definite upgrade in that. So happy about that. I'll be putting this on soon. And the next thing I guess I could show is just the setups that I had before. So this was my original Milwaukee single stage dual gauge. Pretty simple. I mean, it was free, so it's been working. I think I started with pressurized CO2 in 2013 maybe, 2012, 2013, sometime around in there. And I mean, you can see how old it is. We've got patina on my brass here. This had to be replaced already once since I had it because it's cracked, and actually I can see that it's cracked again. And it leaks, obviously, water sometimes through here. So overall, I only used it on low pressure recently, but this bad boy is ready to be retired. What I've been using up until today is my GLA. This is also dual gauge, single stage. It's made mostly from brass. Then you have your two gauges. This gauge here tells you the pressure of inside your CO2 tank, and this tells you the pressure of the flow going up to the tank. The reason this one's important is because when you have the different types of diffusers, there's different methods that you can use. Some of them require a certain PSI or pressure in order to be fully effective. What I've been using, I guess I can pull that out since I didn't, but what I had been using until today was this stainless steel that I picked up when I was in Germany earlier this year. It also has a ceramic disc. That's a little blurry, sorry, but it also has a ceramic disc here, which is replaceable. That was one of the reasons why I decided to bite the bullet and get it. And actually, no, yeah, it comes off. But anyway, so this one required at least a 35 PSI for it to be effective, for it to work well. and I think 35 PSI for the old inline diffuser that I had. So that's the old, and this is the new. So I did go to the website and I did look up this particular regulator that they sent me. It is dual gauge. So it is dual stage. So it's dual gauge and dual stage. And the biggest difference in that is that dual stage will completely eliminate the possibility of end of tank dump, which basically is when you're running low on gas, it's not going to dump the rest of what's in your CO2 canister. It's going to keep that from happening, which is important if you have a lot of expensive fish. If you have just plants, then it may not be as important to you. Sometimes having dual gauge means that you're paying more money. But with the retail price of this being $250-ish, I think that it's definitely worth the money that you're investing in it. Another thing I noticed is the needle valve actually tells you, no, doesn't want to focus. There we go. Well, kind of. It actually tells you in which direction you're twisting. So if you want to increase, you know exactly which way you can increase this for the bubble counter. You have your solenoid. Everything else looks pretty standard compared to what else I've seen. There are 2 different types of threads on the website, and I read this, that it's made according to the UK, Europe, Japan, and Taiwan standard, but it also comes in the CGA A320, which is what we would use here in the US. So this particular thing can fit on any size cylinder, and with it being a dual stage, it can fit onto any. So you can have it on a small tank, you can have it on a large tank. My biggest here is that this is a 10 pound and I have a 5-pound tank. I could go up to a 20. I wouldn't have to worry about changing out this adapter piece because it will fit on anything. So that's good to know as well. And it comes with these nylon washers, which will help keep the gas from leaking. And the bubble counter itself, it's all aluminum, plastic on the inside, very basic. From what I've experienced before, but it looks a lot cleaner. It'll hold a little bit more water. And the ones that I was using from GLA were pretty skinny. I liked them too. They looked neat, but I think bubble counters are just bubble counters, really. It doesn't matter as much. And the CO2 tubing. This tubing is 1 meter. So it's pretty long. Comparing it to the 2 types of tubing that I had on here before, this is probably something I purchased from GLA. It feels about the same, but it's a little bit stiffer. This kind of feels a bit softer. And then I have this black that I had used from a Denale Nano, a Nano setup. So this is super soft compared to this. It's not as pliable, so I think you'll get more use out of this long term without the CO2 ruining the tubing. So that's my update for now, and I'm gonna get these things, all of this put together, so it might be a while before I actually have the end result, but stay tuned.